So Conor Benn comfortably beats Regis Prograis over 10 rounds on the Tyson Fury v Mahmoudov undercard in a fight where Regis Prograis never really looked to give Conor Benn any trouble. From the first round, he was flat-footed, hittable. You know, it was never going to be a tough night for Conor Benn unless Conor Benn basically made it a tough night for himself. And early on, he was doing that a bit where he was trying to box Regis Prograis, and Regis Prograis is the better boxer than Conor Benn. And if it's just purely a boxing match, it's going to be a lot closer. I still think Conor Benn would win at this point in his career because he's just got better legs. Regis Prograis, from the first round, seemed stuck in the mud, couldn't move in and out. You know, was just, it felt like he didn't want to use his legs because he didn't want to risk being tired later on in the fight. But the thing is, when you do that, you're playing a risky game because you may take shots early on in the fight that you didn't need to take, and now come the 7th, 8th, 9th round, you're a lot more tired because you took those big shots. Now, it's always a fine line that these world-class fighters need to toe, and no doubt, Regis Prograis probably felt like he was doing the smartest thing he could at the time. But the game plan was awful, and honestly, Regis Prograis didn't have... That's probably the best Regis Prograis we were going to get at this point. Because he's really got nothing left in the tank, in my opinion. Probably took this fight... Well, we know why he took his fight because we know what he's done after the fight, and I'll make a separate video about that entirely. But, like I said, I was scoring this match. Maybe you give Regis Prograis 1 or 2 rounds, but honestly, even in the rounds where Regis Prograis was doing better, in terms of throwing more shots, being a bit more elusive, these were still rounds that I was giving to Conor Benn. But we'll see. I mean, we won't see. We know the scorecard. We know that Conor Benn won pretty decisively. But honestly, if they gave every round to Conor Benn, I wouldn't have been like, well, that's a robbery. You know, Conor Benn probably deserved to win. And he did win majority of the rounds. Let's not pretend like this fight was close on the scoreboards or even in the fight, right? This wasn't close. Regis Prograis never really had Conor Benn in any real danger. Like I said, it was only going to be a tough fight if Conor Benn let it become a tough fight. And especially later on in the fight, Conor Benn seemed to get a bit more comfortable and seemed to do what he does. People forget this guy is a brawler. He is a brawler. Let him brawl. You know, he doesn't outbox guys. He didn't outbox Eubank Jr. He outmanned Eubank Jr. He was in there. He's more physical. He threw more shots. And then at the end of the fight, or back end of the fight, he drops him. That's because he's a brawler. Throw punches. Don't just let guys sit on the end of your jab. That's letting them off easy if you're Conor Benn. Get in there, close the distance, rip body shots, rip head shots, take a shot, because defensively he's not amazing. He's very hittable. Very hittable. And Eubank Jr. showed that Conor Benn's very hittable. Because it's not like Eubank Jr. is some, generational talent. So if Eubank Jr. is finding you, then majority of these world level guys at 147 and 154 are going to be able to find you. Find your head, find that chin, right? Again, Eubank Jr. never really... Well, he did hurt Conor Benn a few times, did have him wobbled. But, yeah, not to talk about that fight, to talk about the Regis Prograis fight. Again, Regis Prograis didn't cause him any trouble, but Regis Prograis is a 140-pound fighter, a past his prime 140-pound fighter. You're asking a guy who's finished at the top level to come up 10 pounds to fight a guy who's... That's basically Conor Benn seems to be his sort of natural-ish weight class, because even when he weighed in, he said, I could have made 147. And look, to quote Liam Rossignol, you saying that has just made me angrier. Don't tell me you should have made 147, because that fight should have been at 147. Why on earth are you fighting a guy at 150-pound catch weight? It's just stupid, just ridiculous. But again, a separate topic for a separate video. But after that Conor Benn fight, very easy fight for Conor Benn, in my opinion. Now, there are people that are sort of criticising Conor Benn. I very rarely will criticise a boxer for winning dominantly. And this won't be one of those times. There'll be some people that think, well, yeah, he should have stopped Regis Prograis. Again, he probably should have. He probably should have stopped Regis Prograis, because Regis Prograis is old, slow, hittable. Conor Benn is young, fast, hard-hitting. On paper, that's a recipe to a stoppage. In this case, it wasn't. Conor Benn looked good. He didn't look like he's a world beater, though, if we're being honest. Because when Regis Prograis faced a world beater in Devin Haney, it was way more dominant. Like, in my opinion, Regis Prograis should be embarrassed after that Devin Haney performance, because you lost every single round to a guy who doesn't even throw that many shots, isn't a particularly high output boxer in Devin Haney, but He just put an absolute masterclass on you. Whereas Conor Benn didn't necessarily put a masterclass on Regis Prograis in this fight. Like I said, close, competitive at times, but he outmanned him. And that's really going to be Conor Benn's route to success with anyone at 147 at a world level, because he's not going to be able to outbox these guys. He's going to have to outman them. And again, you put him in there with a Ryan Garcia, he could maybe outman Ryan Garcia. You put him in there with a Rolly Romero, it could be a bit tougher, but he could outman a Rolly Romero. You put him in there with Lewis Crocker, again, he could maybe outman a Lewis Crocker, but he's not good enough to outman and outbox a Devin Haney. That's not going to happen. And again, even you look at Ryan Garcia's last performance, Ryan Garcia would probably give Conor Benn some problems, because it's not like Ryan Garcia, it's not like Conor Benn's particularly good defensively. Sure, Ryan Garcia's going to be there to be hit, granted, because Ryan Garcia's only got fast hands, not got fast head movement, not got fast legs, doesn't move you don't move the body, but doesn't move particularly well. He's definitely going to be there to be hit. That fight would be a war, because Ryan Garcia only knows how to fight on the front foot, and so does Conor Benn. But they're different styles, right? So that would make for a good fight. But again, to get back to the Regis Prograis Conor Benn fight, dominant win from Conor Benn, comfortable win. At no point did I ever think, well, at the end of the fight, I wasn't like, well, this could be to Regis Prograis in the scorecards. No, ridiculous. That was never going to happen. And Conor Benn wins a comfortable 10-round decision there. Easy money for Conor Benn. Banked 15 mil, crazy payday. Let me know what you guys thought of that Conor Benn fight. What did you guys think of his performance? And what do you think's next for both guys? Let me know in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag. And I'm out. Peace.